I never thought of Jamaica as a third world country, maybe because I didn't know what it meant. Then after I thought I'd found out the meaning, it became my purpose to educate people on why it wasn't. Why this beautiful place, crime-ridden yet neighborly, primitive, both aided and spoiled by the tourism business, was not to be put in the box of third world. It's true what Jamaicans say, experience teaches wisdom. After many years of protest, I decided that Jamaica, my Jamaica, our Jamaica was progressive, troubled, filled with hidden beauty, and wonderfully third world. No place else but a third world country would you find what we found. When my brothers, husband and I packed our bags for a week in fun-filled Jamaica. We were on a mission. My brother Chris had been in contact with the headmistress of our former basic school located in the hills of St. Anne. She told him that they had received a new building and were doing okay academically, but could do with a few things.
Yes, ma'am. Tomorrow, on Saturday, is the actual painting where we really have volunteers coming to help paint, you know. So today I'm going to try to get two guys to start painting tomorrow so that we can.
We planned a community event where we expected people to come out and help us as we painted the school, cleaned and painted the play places, and gave gifts to the children. My brother Kurt, when he was 7 or 8, lost a marble in the house we were living at the time. He flew 2,500 miles and endured a 6-hour layover just to find his marble. We'll get back to that. Where were we? Yeah, our arrival, yes. Late into the night of our landing, we packed individual, specially made bags for the children, filled them with candy, pencils, and a school uniform for each child. I'll tell you about the school later too. But first, let me tell you about the community. Epworth is a tiny community in the parish of St. Anne, unspoiled and mostly forgotten. The people are vibrant, lively, and forward-thinking. Sure, they may have disagreements, but something about Epworth makes you forget. We were here to visit 2 schools in Epworth in an effort to give back. Little did we know. The road up to Epworth the next day was exciting, like the first day of school. The air was filled with memories of hominy corn and Chevy Chase games. Mrs. Johnson, the headmistress, told us that the road was bad, broke donkey foot as she put it. She was right. We drove through Steer Town on the way up and missed the street sign, if it could be called that, directing us to Epworth. After correcting course, we turned off the main road up to Epworth. It was a different world. Cow pastures, farming, the trees came alive. We stopped at the post office to chat. My husband Vaughn and I stayed back, taking in the scents of mango, newly cut grass, and fires burning away last night's field clearing. We wondered how it is that we survive away from the healthy air, naturally toxic-free foods, and beauty that is so rare and innate that just looking around must provide some health benefits for the body. This is why people live so long here. As we maneuvered the mall road and chatted about longevity, we came across Mrs. Williams, a sturdy 86-year-old matriarch of a woman with her dog in tow, on her way to wash clothes. She told us that she remembered our family and stopped to chat with us.
Me good man, this young man here trying like a lion. You wanna go wash clothes. Remember how they lived down at Baton Pastor there?
Yes, Baton Pastor.
And Miss Carter was a very good teacher.
Yes.
Okay, you don't tell me foolishness.
We drove on. Our first stop was the all-age school, a small red building with a water tank in front. All the running water in the community comes from tanks like these, filled with rainwater or water pulled from the main on trucks. We found that the community still depended on water collected from the rain for daily use. The kids were at recess now, and they were gathered around the tank, around the tree in the schoolyard, and scattered everywhere. They gathered around us, looking at the strangers invading their playtime. A few of them came up to our cars, and a prefect, I could tell by her badge, came up to me and asked if I was here to see the principal. She walked me over to him, where we chatted to him for a while about his school. We were there on sort of a career day to talk to the children, but we also wanted to find out what he needed in his all-age school. He took us to a small, open, concrete block room adjoining the school and told us that this was to be a new classroom.
Whichever you want. Yeah. The ball is in your court.
Right. I want the
So
roof
that you
on.
want, yes. Because if we got a roof on,
yeah,
we would be able to start class in September.
Really?
Yeah, we would.
The building project was abandoned temporarily because they could not fund it any longer, but they desperately needed this new classroom because they had begun to hold classes outside. For the most part, he said they were doing well in their studies. The children were bright, attentive, and some had received scholarships for the prestigious high schools across the island. You see, all-age and primary schools are key here. You need to get into the right all-age or primary school, do well on your high school entrance exams so that you can get into the right high school, so that you can sit for the maximum number of CXC exams, so that you can get to the right sixth form school, which is grade 12, so that you can sit O-levels, then A-levels, and become the doctor that everyone expects you to be. It's a lot of pressure for a kid. The kids at Epworth All Age seemed up for the challenge. Polite, studious, and as playful as they could be. We played ring games, cricket, dandy shandy, sight, and many other schoolyard games. I taught them how to play Popeye the Sailor Man, telling them how to emphasize the end part, comma, comma, dash, dash. They loved it. They taught me to play Queen Elizabeth. We formed huge circles and danced into the afternoon. Chris taught some of the boys how to do push-ups properly. Most of them could not keep up with the exercise. After we chatted, the principal gathered them in orderly lines, told them to stand the way they did for the morning's devotions. First graders stood up front and grade 6 in the back. We spoke to them of life, our past experiences, and our present lives. They were taken by Chris, who is a sergeant in the U.S. Army. They asked him numerous questions. Was he scared? Did he have nightmares about being in Iraq? No one else existed. After a while, it was time to go. Remember when we said we were giving back? Little did we know. The life that we got from the children was immeasurable. We felt like we were given 20 years of life in 2 hours. The presents, it seemed, were for us, but there was more to come. We had much more running around to do in the day and night before we visited the basic school. We had to secure paint supplies, food for the community event we had planned. Never a dull moment. We went back to the basic school twice, once on Friday to treat the kids to ice cream, candy, and gifts. Each girl got a princess tiara. The gifts were personalized for boys and girls. Parents came out with their children and had an equally good time. The next day, Saturday, more members of the community came out. Students from the all-age school, parents, executive members of the community, old friends and new. We painted late into the afternoon, all the while chatting to Mrs. Johnson about her experiences here at the school.
Yes, it's really from the heart because I really love children. I really love children, and I like to interact with children. That's my hobby, children. I really love children a lot.
The basic school, she told us, held 34 students, most of them paying students, and were bright, playful children. The children are taught to spell, count, and recite ABCs without singing the familiar Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star tune. She was passionate. She told us more about early childhood education in Jamaica. We were amazed at the minuscule salaries.
I haven't seen the involvement in Ministry of Education in early childhood. Like the all age and the primary, they involved in it, but not in the early childhood. Because what they said the early childhood is community-based involvement.
Was this the third world, where people who tried their hardest to succeed are made to work without proper tools, where educators like Mr. Meredith, Miss Johnson, and the dedicated teachers of the Epworth schools are made to teach children in classrooms outside because the heat gets unbearable and the noise is too much? If it is, they don't seem to know it. How about Delani, who found her inner painter as she took on the task of painting in the 0-degree lines without using painter's tape? And maybe Darian, who stayed to paint all day, enduring the fumes from the oil paint? The many people who painted the grills with the diligence and skill of neurosurgery. Pam, Mrs. Glenn, Jackie and others who are so dedicated to the school and its children that they stayed up all night seasoning and cooking for the community members. If this is third world, we were all proud to be just that. Kurt never did find his marbles explains a lot.